So I totally forgot to push record. So just so we recap, Meaghan and I selected different cards this time. I selected Aloha Ke Akua, which is the blessing of the Supreme Being. And Meaghan selected, which one? Meaghan, which one did you get?
36 Mayu, which is Soma from the Galactic heart.
So, yeah, I feel like today's connection was actually more powerful than I've experienced before, which makes me feel really good. I love that. And I love having that with you guys. And I feel like it's so safe to just let go and let it in. And oh, my whole body was just shaking.
I felt the same way. And actually now I feel kind of more relaxed. I mean, there's like a bit of like energy that it takes to like get here and get to the point where I'm relaxed. But with you guys, I just feel more relaxed and I have all week. Like, I just feel like I'm like, oh, like letting go. It just feels great.
Okay. So I wanted to just kind of touch on something before we move forward. And I'm going to try to share my screen so you guys can see what I have here. Hold on.
Gabrielle, what was the song that you played?
Oh, it was, one second. The Healing Room by Sinead O'Connor. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys my altar at home and show you how I have created, once I collected my spirit animals and my Apus, which is what we're going to work on in the next lesson, I created a wall that reminds me and anchors that energy every day. And as I told you guys, this is now where Baby G likes to sit on the rocks there. And it has become, my space of where if you're looking at me right now, it's literally right here. So it's literally anchors my energy. And why I'm showing you this is I want you guys to understand why we're pulling in the animals. Why next we're going to start pulling in sacred lands is you're creating your matrix. You're creating your energy to pull into and anchor you as the portal of all of these things together so that you can start emanating out that energy and also using it as protection when you connect. And I was thinking, I don't know if I shared that with you guys as to why we started collecting our animals and why it's important to understand which direction they're assisting you in. But why this is the basis of everything. And I always talk about this. You have to first be protected before you open yourself. And so this is just calling in your people, your things, your lands, and they want to be with you. So it's just opening up and listening to them. So in this first part, I kind of just want to recap on where everyone is on their spirit animal guides. Who wants to go first?
Well, I can speak for the green water serpentines. In our group, I believe we have, all of us have found our animals for the directions. I think maybe Adriana is missing one. And so one direction, but we're almost there.
And you guys know which direction each one came in for? Like you guys have been doing, that's perfect.
Mm-hmm. I actually haven't got there yet. I just haven't given time to it. It's been, my mind, we'll get into it, but I've just been so like distracted with other things. But I do have spirit animals. I just don't know if with those, like the spirit animals that I know are with me, would those be the same ones that come in, or is this like a different exercise that's going to pull in? So I just have to find the direction.
Yeah. If you have had animals that you always have been guided towards and they've been in your life, they're probably your animals. It's just now tuning in to finding out which direction they're here to help you with, right? If it's the south, which is shedding, if it's the west, which is nurturing, And if it's the north, which is grounding, or the east, which is creation. So
Okay.
each one of them is going to be here to help you anchor that energy and bring in that spirit through that energy of the animal. So yeah, I would say
Okay.
use the ones that are already in your life.
For sure.
Yeah. Anyway, Meaghan, Kayla, how are you guys doing?
Well, we have, I feel like we all have one for sure. We all channeled in the serpent. So that one was actually across the board for all of us. And
Do you know which direction it came in?
I think it was the south. Isn't that what we said, Meaghan? We didn't really explore it further to confirm. What do you think, Meaghan?
Yeah, I feel like we all got serpent, and then we also need to just finalize the other pieces.
But it's not, you know, it's not the
cool
group.
that we all unanimously.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, you don't have to each have the same ones, but you're saying this just like coincidentally.
This happened. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Nice. And Fabi, I know you, I think, have all of yours now. Oh, you have to move your thing down.
Hello, everyone. Yes, I think I was sad because I thought I wouldn't have it. And then last night I had it in a dream. So I think I have the 4 now. I just have to check the directions with the PDF you send me to make sure it's in the right, I have them in a sequence. So if you started in south, the last one is east or west?
East.
East. So I think I got it right. So yes, we have the 4. I think our group's complete. I'm talking from air.
Yeah. And how about you, Melanie? How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. How are you with finding your animals?
I have 2. I have a tiger and a buffalo. The tiger is south, and I have the buffalo written down at home. I don't know. I was thinking it was east, but I'm not sure now.
Okay. So yeah, just keep calling it in, keep paying attention, keep not only in meditation, but also even around you, like in Tiffany's case, that bee was coming up, or, you know, like paying attention to who's attracted to your energy. That's another way to really hone in on what medicine you're needing help with right now. And actually, Fabi was saying this morning with her bear in her dream, she was like, explain what you were saying, Fabs, how you couldn't contain the energy. It felt like.
Yeah, the dream was about a girl that got a bear as a pet, as if it was going to be little forever. And then it grew into a massive big bear, a brown bear. And then there was a situation of what to do with that, with all this energy. We can't keep that at home. We can keep that indoors, and you cannot just give it away. Oh, I don't want my pet anymore because it's a bear. So other people cannot get that either. So it's a massive responsibility to nurture that energy, and it was huge.
Yeah.
That was the message in the dream.
Also, I want to bring up, because this happened with Fabi this week. She hurt her right leg, or she tore a ligament in her right leg. And this is very important right now, is to pay attention if you get hurt, which side of your body it's on. So the right is the masculine, and it's telling her masculine needs to slow down, needs to take a break. So really tuning into the messages and the things that come through in these times are so important. So when I think before a lot of you came on, we were talking, Mina and April and I were talking about how energy has just slowed down right now. And I think that's happening for a reason. And if you were being too active, physical things are going to happen to slow you down.
Literally.
Actually, a girl in the universe, on one of her messages this week actually was exactly that. She said, please be very cognizant of how you're moving your body and very much paying attention, because she actually said, injury prone, especially this week, and to be very mindful. And I just, with Fabi hurting her right side, she specifically called out the masculine, that this is a time where masculine energy is being released or whatever. So when I heard that after hearing Fabi's accident, I was like, well, yeah, there you go. Like, so yes, just very much paying attention to how you're moving and knowing when, like, don't push. You know, even myself this week, I've really, with any kind of physical activity, just been very like, nope, I don't need to do one more rep or one more anything. Like, I'm just being very careful and safe.
Yeah, that's really good. Okay, so then the other thing I really want to talk about this week is yesterday. Whenever I feel like there's energies that are very similar coming in at the same time, I know that it's energy, right? It's like a thread that is needing to be exposed or brought illumination to. And both of them, the common theme was, why am I in this position right now? And in the case of both of you guys, it was work, but it really could be in anything. Why are we exactly where we are right now? And I'm going to go first because I want you guys to understand that I also struggle with this. You guys know I am introverted. I am not a leader in any way. So when you feel me resisting that role, that's real. I am not wanting that role. But then I also can see, like, is that why it's coming this way, right? Like, I know that what we resist is what the medicine that we need. So when I was speaking with Andrea yesterday, I realized, like, she literally is on the front line with energy. And myself personally, I tell you guys, I am very much a hermit. I keep to myself. I don't really have a lot of interaction with people in the physical world. And when I look at someone else that does, I think, like, well, that's happening for a reason. That there is a reason that her energy is called to be in contact with, let's say, 8 people, random people a day. And what the feeling I got is, are we really arming each other with the tools that we need to be exactly where we are in this time and space? So I would like to go through each person to say, like, what is it that you're struggling with, or what is it that you feel like your role is right now? And not that we each have to come to your rescue, but just having that awareness is going to help us each know how to nurture each other, right? Like, I know I have individual conversations with a lot of you guys, but I think we have to think of this as group energy. And why else did we come together? We're here to support each other. So I'm going to just go in order of the screen. So Mina, you want to go first?
Yeah. That was something that I was really struggling with, like, about a month or 2 ago, is how do I bring in these 2 different aspects of what I'm waking up to, at the time I called it 3D world, but it's really, you know, it's your everyday life, especially in the role that I play in my career. And I think I've gotten to a place now where I'm understanding, and synchronicities have happened, and signs and messages have kind of pushed back, especially when my elephant came to me from the south. And after spending time with it and sitting with it, I painted her. I had dreams about her. She gave me her name. And what she said was, she's here to help me stand in my power and to lead. And I work in a position in local government, so it actually makes a lot of sense. And there's just been a series of events that have taken place over the last 3 weeks where it's like affirming, this is the direction I need to go. Because when I think back to how I got here, it was when I was really in flow with just letting things happen. You know, I didn't wake up and say, I want to be a CPA and I want to work for government. It just kind of manifested. So that's where I think the universe has been pushing me towards. And also in looking at our names, when Susan had given us, what she was able to find. I was digging deeper on my last name, and I even though I've known this, it kind of clicked for me based off of my ancestry. Like that's kind of the same path that they went. And so, yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
And are you feeling grounded in that? Like you're not trying to escape it. It sounds like you've embraced it.
I feel like in the
moment,
last 2 weeks, I've finally started to ground it and to see it. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Makes me happy. I mean, and I think too, like going back to the beginning of this is all we can live is in the present moment. So look at not like what our goals are, but where are we in the present moment? Because that is all we can focus on right now. Okay, April, do you want to go next?
So in our subgroup, Alicia did like this. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Okay. Yes. So in our subgroup, Alicia had done like this miraculous like mini reading for the rest of us in the group. And we were looking at our north nodes. And so I kind of have an answer prepared. What I've been called to do. And she basically said from my astrology chart that I'm supposed to reach out from this place of feeling weird and alone and that strange one out, maybe feeling unheard and like doubting whether or not anyone's hearing me or if I'm making a difference. But I'm supposed to be still putting out my thoughts out there to be seen and heard. And I'm guessing that's with the podcasts or the articles I write. But so I was like, that is so spot on, Alicia, because I have felt very alone and very much weird, and like, especially with the podcast, not getting any traction. And just having that encouragement that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Just keep on doing me. And it doesn't matter the rest of it because it's part of my journey. And whether that helps someone else, it's not up to me. It's not my problem or my burden. It's part of my healing process. So that's what I'm in a place of transition. I had a self-imposed career in the medical field that I was completely dissatisfied, unhappy with for years, but I had myself stuck there because I thought mentally from a practical place that's where I needed to be to support my family. And just through deconditioning and other things like that, I stepped out of that into a completely unrelated field. And I was working part-time. And then 2 weeks ago, I was like, you know what? I'm going to create more space. I don't want to do this even 4 days. I'm going to do it just 1 day. So that's what I've been doing this is my second week to just go into the office 1 day a week. And so I'm opening up the space for more things to manifest and show up. So I'm trying to go with the flow here.
I was having a conversation with Anne about just your group, and I'm just bringing this up because it's coming through as I should share it. I think you're from a pretty far away planet, and I think that's why you feel weird here. But that's exactly what you said about you have to share the weird. You have to. Like, otherwise, how will the others know that you're here? Like I totally resonate with that.
But okay, so was that about our group or just me in particular?
No, we were talking about you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just find it so interesting because whenever, I think I shared this with my smaller group, but not in the larger group, but when I was doing the Akashic Records level 1 with the Soul Tribe, and we were all going about our spirit animals. And I was like, that was one of the things I was fixated on because it seemed like a spiritual rite of passage, right? You needed to know your spirit animals. This is like about a year ago now. And I think Lucia, she just tapped in, and she was like, what is the spirit animal for each of these people? And she said for me that she got the sense that I was relatively new to this planet.
Yeah.
Maybe not necessarily a new being, but new to this planet. Yeah. And that my spirit animal was an off-world animal. And that's why I was having problems connecting with a spirit animal here. And then it was something like maybe a flying creature. She couldn't quite get it. And so that's why I loved when for my West, the dragon came through. So I really loved that. And then on a side note, I'm going down another rabbit hole, but on the astrology part of it, because I have Uranus in my first house, that has been labeled as an alien planet by some astrologers. And so I thought that was really interesting.
I want to say too, like our connection, I don't think I've shared it with the group, but April and my human design charts are almost identical. And I didn't know her birth information, but she shared it with, I think with the group when we first broke into the groups. So I plugged it in, and sure enough, we are almost identical, which makes sense to why we're, I want to say learning from each other, because as Mina pointed out, she is the person that I need to learn from, which I knew it. I knew it before because there's energy there that I feel, and I have always felt there. So it's like, really, when I say she's not from close by, she's not. And I feel that so deeply that that's what I'm working through, is how do I work with this, because it's different, right? But that's why I feel like this is just a confirmation from many of your sisters saying you still have to share, you still have to be you and uniquely you, which I love that. I love it, because honestly, this whole journey for anyone is difficult. It's not easy. It's like putting your heart out there to whatever is, I guess, resonating with it, whether if it be picked up or not picked up. And, I used to struggle with that too, and be like, oh, I think we need more followers, but no, you don't. You need the right followers, the right people that are with the vibration. So I thank you for sharing, April. That's really, it feels like very right on. Aisha, you're next.
Okay. I've been yawning like crazy on this call, and I'm probably gonna cry too. So just a heads up. Yawning is like one way that I release, and then you guys are like the only people I ever open up to, and whenever I open up, I cry. So just put that out there. Yeah, it's been a really hard week for me. I also feel like I've kind of come full circle in a way. But for me at work, I just have a really, I have a lot of responsibility in my position. Like, I'm basically running an entire company in a brand new industry, a brand new company. And it's hard because the further we go down this path, the more like balance I find and peace I find in my personal life. But my at work personality is very much like on the ball. I'm the one that has to tell everyone what to do, and they know that as my role. Otherwise, like, things don't get done. So I'm always like bossing people around and cracking the whip. It's not like confrontational, but it's just, that's who I am at work, and that's who I have to be. And I'm naturally like a leader there. But what I really, like in my personal life prefer to do is just I'm very relaxed, and I work from home. I'm on meetings, I'm talking to people all day, but I live in a small town. Like, I don't have any friends close by, and I'm okay with that. So it's just this really hard, I feel like the two realities are becoming so divided. Like, I can just feel the gap between like where we're going and where we're at or where we were. And so every day when I sit down at my desk, it's like, here we go again. And then as the workday becomes more intense, I get more intense, and I can feel myself like plugging back into like 3D things, and I just get worked up, but I try so hard not. So it just got to me this week finally, where I was like, fuck, like, can I really keep going to work every day and just continually, this came up in my Akashic reading too, the one I shared with you guys, but like the beginning part, she was like, you're just like plugging into the 3D matrix all the time, but because of like the way your spirit's going, it's like short circuiting you. And I'm like, that's how I feel like. But when you have to go to work every day, like you can't not go to work and show up for work. And especially when you're feel like you have the whole company on your shoulders. It's just, so that was me all week basically. And with all these like this info coming about things like transitioning quicker, I was like, what's even the point of everything? But because I was so wrapped up in like bouncing back and forth, I just felt very, very blocked and frazzled all week. So I reached out to you guys eventually. What was it, just like yesterday maybe, or the day before, like, is anyone else struggling with this? And you know, like the advice I got back from Grabrielle was very, like, it was just a great reminder. And it's kind of like, it's literally what I try to do in my life at work or outside of work every day, but I forgot in the past little bit because I've been tuning more into, it feels like the divided energy than the energy of like oneness of where we're going. So the reminder to just like continue to bring light to all my coworkers was really big for me. And then when I finally got that, actually I had been asking for a message from one of my spirit animals, the owl, all for the last like week, just in general, like just give me a message that I'm aligned, or I'm, you know, tuning in my energy the right way. And I was getting nothing. And usually I get my messages pretty quick, but I was getting nothing. I kind of forgot about it. And then yesterday after Grabrielle, you sent that audio clip, I listened to it. Then I had to run into a store to grab a birthday card for my mother-in-law. And there was like a bin of about 100 cards and I couldn't see any of them. They were all like different illustrations. So I was just pulling through, and the first one that I pulled out was an owl. And I was like, oh my God, there's my owl. And then the second one that I pulled out was actually Andrea's spirit animal, which she had just found and she had just put into our small group chat, a ladybug. And then the third one that I pulled out was the bumblebee, a bee. And I was like, there it is. Like, honestly, I just have goosebumps right now, but that's when everything like snapped back for me. And even like last night, I've just been thinking about Andrea a lot. And cause you know, I looked at her chart and I know she has like a really difficult, like lineup here on earth. Like she does, you know, it's tough, like what she's working with. And I was just kind of connecting to her and connecting to all of us. And kind of the message that I was like looking for all week was like, we have the support. I just felt, I don't know how to explain this, but I felt like I was tuning into us all working together like we're doing now, just in like a greater way as like time progresses. And so, yeah, so I don't know, I just said a lot of stuff. It was just a tough week, but at the end of it, like coming back to us and coming back to like this energy that actually allows me to relax a little bit and forget about the 3D world for a while, and getting those 3 spirit animal messages was like, it was incredible. So yeah, that's.
So I had a lot of things that came through while you're talking. That's why I was like,
I did say a lot.
First of all, your cross of incarnation is the cross of rulership. So you are meant to be a leader, which what I was feeling is that you're honing your skills where you are now. It doesn't mean it's where you're supposed to land, but it's where you're developing those leadership qualities. And that's why I think you're supposed to be there for the people and lead from that place of love in a business that's not yours and you don't really, you know, feel attached to, right? But it's the honing of the skills. Secondly, Kayla is also your same cross of incarnation. You two need to start working together more, because Kayla has embodied the very much 5D. And I think you guys you both are the leader. You both are here to share that energy, right? And I think creating that, maybe it's a third group for you two, to start that communication on how do you balance the two, because that cross of leadership is such a strong one. It's very masculine. And it feels like there needs to be a more feminine approach, which is difficult in the 3D world because you have to be on the ball. And I mean, I was very much this way in my career too, but there has to be an evolution of that leader. And I'm feeling like Kayla's going to help you and you're going to help her find the balance of the divine masculine and feminine. Okay.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Will two rulers be able to get along in a group together? No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, because
Can we boss each other around?
No, but here's the other thing. You two are going to be the ones that get shit done in this group.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm not a lead. That's not my role. I mean, I don't feel it. And I empower others to take that role because I know it's not my main thing, but I know I'm here to embody some of it. But I love that there's two of you that hold the polarities, and I want it to come together. And like, maybe you're the vision of what happens with this group and how you're saying you see us working together in some capacity in the future. Like, that's going to take right?
I saw that. I saw us all. It's kind of like building a community, like being the people that we're planning of the building of our community, because that's what I felt. And that was like the greatest piece, but it was so cool. Like just seeing us working together and like, how do we want to structure things? And yeah.
Yeah. And that is like terrifies me. So I mean, terrifies me. So that's why I like, and also feel that when anytime anyone gets an idea, I'm like, you own it, run with it, do it, because I want everyone in this group to feel like a part of the leader leading this, because I'm not. Like, I literally am letting spirit come through me to help put this together, but it's not me personally, right? And we need that leadership energy. So I think Kayla and Aisha are meant to come together.
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah. Yay. And then I just would just say again, kind of going off of yesterday, is that you're exactly where you are for the right reasons. You just have to start taking in and feeding your soul. What is the lesson there? And it's to hone your skills as a leader, but from a feminine, balanced perspective. And don't let, even though corporations can be so masculine, how do you interject you into the process? Instead of like keeping your head down and just like busting through the meetings, how do you bring the heart to it? How do you start integrating the fifth dimension into this moment?
Yeah.
Okay. So I hope that helps. Man.
That does help. Thank you. I'll also say I microdosed all month.
What do you got there?
I'm at the end of I only have 2 left, just like psilocybin. And my coworkers were like, I guess about a week in, they were like, what is different about you? Like, you're a completely different person. All my meetings were running like 15 to 20 minutes late, but it definitely I think helped relax things a little bit.
That's amazing. Isn't it legal in Canada? Is it legal there? Because you have like an actual bottle that.
No, this is just, this is a Canadian company. They're not legal yet, but it's almost like what happened with cannabis, where they're getting so formalized that it's going to be legal soon, I would imagine. Yeah.
Well, Meaghan actually gave me the suggestion of trying I think it's the Stemets protocol, which is doing, I think it's 3 or 4 consecutive days. So I tried that this week. I wasn't going to because I am preparing for Aya, but I was like, no, I have all this free moment because I had, I told you guys I have free time right now. So I was like, I'm just and I just was feeling just so good and in the flow and not so in my head, which I think we have a very similar problem. I let that take just control.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm sure everybody has that problem. Yeah. That's great. Okay, Meaghan.
All right. Well, first, I'm so happy to be back. It feels like it's been forever. So yeah, just very happy to be back. So we got back from Peru August 5th, spent a few days at my parents' house, and then now we're back here on the farm in Kentucky. And I think for me, there's just been so much physical change, and that I think before Peru, like I had longer stretches of just feeling like in flow, and just feeling just like in that love of being. And so that was a lot. And I'm still settling right now, and just there is so much change that is even upcoming. It's almost like, I mean, my parents are kind of cracking up in a, not just because I'm like, literally every day is different. We're getting new information every day about what our lives will look like, and where we're going to be. And so the biggest development that's happened for us is, so we kind of went to Peru and was like, I mean, we just got to get back and then see where the pieces land to know what our next step is going to be. Because up until that point, we were thinking we'll be going down to Texas potentially for the winter for Eric to do this computer program thing he got accepted to. But just with Lionsgate and all of this, like feeling like something big is coming, like this is the time when we're meant to step into what we are truly meant to be doing. And it just kept seeming like that the coding thing was not where Eric's heart was at. And then just 2 days ago, basically like this opportunity has fallen into his lap potentially that could be just insane, like would be amazing for him. And so he's working on that, and we'll find out soon. But what that would mean for me is that I would, with Eric having a solid job career situation, something that he would be delving into, and this would be, you know, a lot of time, lots of hours traveling, things like that, that I think I've been kind of like in the ocean, like rocking side to side, like not falling over, not tipping, but I've been waiting for when the waters are calm enough to where I have the space to start my own thing. Because there have been so many things in my mind and my heart that I felt like called to do, that I want to do, from, you know, starting a podcast to hosting online rapé circles, or yoga things, and even starting my own yoga program. All of these things have been put kind of on hold for me, because I just don't have, everything's been so transitory.
Mhm.
So that was when Eric told me that, when he got off the phone with this guy, Jim, I just felt in my being this like new burst of excitement, like, okay, like this isn't going to be this transient, you know, gypsy thing forever, you know, and really working with myself as far as what can I do now, and what, you know, just to give myself some like, all right, are you actually procrastinating, or are you just recognizing that the things aren't settled enough to fully dive in yet? But it seems like that's very much on the horizon. And so that gave me a new burst of hope for sure. So yeah, I think I've just been really all over the place. Even day to day, like I have very magical hours, and then I have like the witching hours that are just like where I almost just like let things get away from me, and almost like I have it's almost like I have too much knowledge now to get away with things like I did before. Whereas because now if I get into a negative thought loop, I have this knowledge in the back of my mind, like, yeah, well, you create your own reality and you can get yourself out of this, instead of being able to play the victim role and say like, well, this has happened to me, or the situations have led me into this. Now to really have to take ownership for, okay, Meaghan, instead of succumbing to this, like what tools and modalities do you have, whether that's going and, you know, getting in the shower, in a cold shower, or breathing, or going outside and just like sitting in the grass or something, like just knowing I have the tools, I have things that I can do to help myself out of these places when I get into them. And I do believe that once I start, I think here's the big thing that I'm realizing is that once I step into where I know I want to be, I will have to leave these things behind that have been holding me back, because I will be I have in my heart this such strong desire for authenticity and to share openly and honestly, that once I'm out there, I'm going to be out there and I can no longer hold on to this. And so that I have been using that as a crutch to say, well, I'm not out there yet. So until that happens, I'm going to be able to hold on to these things that I can potentially carry shame around or guilt. Almost like, I'll tell a quick story because it's funny. So one of the boys here, Israel, he's 8. He's a very interesting boy. He's got really good ideas, but he's got some really big attitude problems when it comes to work ethic and integrity. And so he had told me they're moving out of their trailer into their new house in the next month. And he got all excited one day because he had read The Way of the Warrior Kid, which is Jocko Willing, who's a retired Navy SEAL. He wrote a kid's book for The Way of the Warrior Kid. And so Israel was like, I'm going to wake up early at like 4:30 and work out and drink my water and do all of these things. And it was awesome, like the rules of the Warrior Kid. And he was like, I'm going to start tomorrow. And I was like, that is awesome. Like, I'm super proud of you. And then very quickly it turned into, well, actually, I'm going to wait until we're in our new house so that I have an alarm clock and I have, like, I am going to do this, but when it's perfect. And I have just been seeing that message across the board through Facebook, through podcasts I've listened to, where this whole I am that. And Israel has been my mirror in that, where it's like, are you going to wait for things to be perfect before you get your shit together? And it's like, oh, I use that excuse all the time. So yeah, that's my work, I know that I have the power and I have the ability and I have the tools necessary to work on that before I feel like things are perfect or I'm out there and there's no turning back. And somehow finding grace and forgiveness for fucking up when I do, and understanding that I am human. but knowing that I want better for myself, and that I will love that once I bust out of that cocoon, which I feel like is coming, once I bust out, that my butterfly life, which gosh, butterflies are everywhere, moths, butterflies are dragonflies, everything is, that's the number one most prevalent animal that I see on a daily basis here. So that's where I'm at. So
Well, it's time for transformation.
yes.
But okay, so I wrote down some things. First is you're integrating such a huge experience, Meaghan. Like you went through so much, and you've been through so much on the road. Like you like give yourself a little bit of a break, because there's so much integration that you are going through. And because you're the vessel of love, like think about it this way, you're literally an open chalice that's taking it all in, because you're also the opportunist role model. So you've created these opportunities for you to absorb love, so that then you can become the role model. But I also do agree with you in that people are mirrors, and there never is a perfect time. Never. So knowing, I think it's amazing that you saw it in this little boy saying that. You're like, holy shit, what is he mirroring to me right now? That's crazy. And then
because he irritates me out of all the kids. He gets me the most.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dang it. Like, he is the one that infuriates me. His attitude infuriates me. And I'm like, shit.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then the other thing I wrote down is grounding. Like, a lot of stuff has come up this week about our partners not being on the same page as us. And then I was thinking, when you were talking, kind of the opposite. Like for me, Richard is that grounding force that has created stability that allows me to be like completely out there, but yet rooted, right? And you are literally not rooted because you're moving. But also in that aspect, like think about it this way, are you ready to be grounded? Are you still like in creation and in air and movement? So like, it's also embracing, why are you not grounding right now? You know, and is that okay? Does it feel okay? Or do you need to start finding ways to root? Now, like, let's say if it is a podcast, like literally you can do that anywhere as long as you have internet connection. You don't need to be in one space. But the other thing is that something like that, imagine a podcast is literally putting in your viewpoints, and it's creating the roots of you. So is that an avenue that could start creating that rooted feeling in you? Like for me, it's become a diary in a way, and it's a way for me to let energy pass through that feels like, I mean, it's not like it makes money. It's not that. It's just a way for me to ground the ideas that come through, right? And so think of it as just playing. It doesn't have to be like something big. I mean, I don't think most people, unless you have like a production company behind you, go into a podcast with that idea. I think it's just creation and grounding the energy. Otherwise, it's just floating, and it makes you feel chaotic. Mm-hmm. And I also find, and April, you maybe can confirm this in you, once I let it and I record it and I get it out, I can move on. I'm free to move on to the next thing. It doesn't feel like it's floating around me so much anymore, and I can like ground it down. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, also, but just embracing where you are, knowing that you're literally have gone through so much. Like since I've met you, it's been like maybe 6 months. You've done like 6 months of work within, I mean, no, years worth of work in 6 months, right?
Yeah.
So having patience with yourself, really, and grace.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone else want to say anything? Kayla, you look like you were like, yes.
About like, I resonate so much with what Meaghan just said, and I know Meaghan already knows this. I feel such a strong connection with her, I think it definitely goes back to like past life. We were definitely sisters in a past life, and I feel that connection strong. And I actually feel, and we've talked about this a little bit, like I feel us and I see us working together to like ground some of these dreams and bring forward some of these creations. Meaghan and I are very similar creatures, and the things that we're doing in our life, the medicine path, and so I feel like our energy is very complementary. And I think that, like, it, as she's the one that I'm supposed to be like learning from, and I can feel it, and I know what I'm learning from her, like on an energetic level, even if we're not having like discussion all the time. And but yeah, I feel that, and I resonate so much with this feeling of like chaos and floating around. Like I'm rooted, but like I'm not rooted in my own home, like my own space right now. Like I'm with family, and for me, like that's something that I'm really struggling with right now. Like, and so like I just resonate, and I feel that same type of energy. I want to put my roots in. There are things that I want to share. Like 2017 is when I first started with ayahuasca, and after a certain amount of time, like on the medicine path, I started collecting all of these friends and having all these conversations, and just so many things opened up for me. And like 2017, or probably by like 2018, into 2018 a little bit, spirit's prompting me and telling me, like, you need to write these stories, you need to write about these experiences, you need to write about your journeys and your dreams and all these things that are bubbling up, and you need to get it out, otherwise you're gonna go crazy. And so here we are, it's 2021, and like I have yet to publish a book. Like I can probably write 5 books, and it's all like in there. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to get this, I have to get it out. So for me, and then like with the human design, what we talked about with that is that I'm a visionary. I was born a visionary. And even though the human design said like I was born with everything that's supposed to come through, I feel this constant influx, whether that's within or from the cosmos or whatever. But like there are so many things that want to birth through me, and I need a team. Like I need probably several teams to help me like birth these things through. And it's it's for humanity, like it's for all of us. So but one of my main things is that like I'm a mom, I have a 7-year-old son, and because of COVID and the big shift that has happened over the last year and a half, he's no longer going to be going to public school. Like he's going to be homeschooled. My sister is, she's been struggling with heroin addiction for like the last 10 years. And she has 2 daughters. She has not 7 years old. She has a 12-year-old daughter and a 3-year-old daughter. And Spirit is telling me like, Kayla, you have to like kind of shift your focus, and you have to start living as if they're your daughters, because they are. Like I'm the one, that's here to mother them alongside my son. So for me, getting rooted and like getting really grounded to be able to not only support myself, but support the dreams of these three other souls, like that's a huge responsibility for me. So I, and I've already worked through like a lot of emotions and a lot of things where, I don't give in to energy of like, oh my God, I'm drowning, this is too much, or I'm pressed for time, like I'm in a rush. Like I feel really at peace with things the way they are, and I trust in the universe, I trust in the guidance and the flow of everything. But like I'm ready to take off. Like I'm ready to, you know, I'm ready to be grounded and really like bringing forward these creations and, you know, into the 3D.
So remember we talked about you have to inform and Meaghan needs to be invited. So this connection is there, but how does the energy connect? You have to inform and invite her. So if you see there's points, like let's just say, is it a book or is it a podcast that you guys could do together? You have the rulership. You can function this and get it, and she is the carrying it out because she has the bigger vision. She's the projector. She can get it out. But you have to, like, when you want to work together, you have to realize we each carry our own gifts, and you have that, which is, I told you, very rare. There's not very many manifestors. You have that. Meaghan is here to see the bigger picture. She can get those things out with you, but you guys have to, you know, work the energy together. And that's beautiful. I mean,
I have never thought of that. And the thought of doing a podcast with you, Kayla, my heart was just like, squeak.
Oh my God. Okay, listen. So when you said butterfly life, I literally wrote that down and I was like, that could be the podcast name.
Oh,
Butterfly life.
Yes. Yes. And what's interesting too is that when I said this yesterday, you guys both have that medicine woman vibe for me. So it feels very balanced, right? Like it does. It feels like you guys are from the same seed of work. So I think that's like, and you both are like this kind of nomadic, like open to energy. Like to me, like I'm envious of it because I'm still stuck in a lot of ways in this matter, and you guys have shed it and you're just flowing. And to me, that's like literally jumping off the cliff. And it's admirable. Yeah.
And so and it's funny because you said, like, are you ready to be grounded? And I totally resonate with that because as much as I know, like, okay, where's my home base going to be? Like, this is what I want. This is what I need to have for these, for these kids. And then I'm like, but oh my God, like I need an RV or something too. Like I need to be mobile so I can fly. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think that's so good.
Aisha too, I felt that before you called it out, I totally felt that.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was or when it was going to happen, but I felt that.
Yeah. But I like, that's also part of that is like going back to understanding what your cross of incarnation is and then letting it reveal itself to you and embracing it as the pieces fall into place. Then you're like, okay, I see it. I know it now and I get it. And then it's like not judging how it's coming in your everyday life, but just it's an energy that's always moving through you. Sorry. Yell at them 1 second. Sorry, guys. Those are my kids. Yay, so we have something an actionable thing. I love that. Okay, Fabi, your turn.
Like God can connect all of you.
Oh, you have to move your thing down.
Oh, I can't. I'm just loving it all. Everyone with a lot of homeworks. This week was about don't focus on perfection, get things done. So I think that goes for a lot of. It's funny also to see how I'm in Brazil. I'm a different person in a way, but we're living the same things. Like, am I gonna manage to do it all? how do you balance work with the spiritual path we're living? And then the point we came today, that we have to bring this joy to help illuminate the others around us. They're not having the opportunities to be where we are right now, in this place we are right now. So I forgot the name of the girl that was actually talking. I don't know if it was, no, it was not Melanie. I don't see her anymore.
She's right below you, but her video.
And then just
Mina.
For me, I think it was Mina, maybe. So bring light to these people, be an inspiration, be a beacon of light in the small daily tasks, because they're probably struggling with their own things as well, maybe looking for some inspiration. So I have been praying to be that, to be an inspiration. It doesn't need to be like something huge. It's like every small task we do every time we engage with someone, to bring that good energy to them as well. So the perfection, because we imagine so many greater books we can write, so many podcasts, so many blogs, so much. And then, as Gab was saying, it just do something, take a small step. Maybe get a piece of paper, divide it into three parts. In the bottom one, you put where do you want to go? What is the vision? What is the main vision? In the top part, leave the gap in the middle. In the top part, you put where are you right now? It could be that I don't have an address. I might be moving all the time. That I still don't have the courage, or I fear something. Put those things in, and then you fold the paper. You're going to have what you want, what you are, where you are at the moment. And in the middle, which steps, baby steps can be. What can I do day by day, week by week, month by month to help you get there?
Wait, I want to interject because Fabi is also a manifester, Kayla, but she's a completely open manifester, which is totally different than you. But you see how she got right in there and she is like, let's do this, let's do this. That's because she has that energy too. So you guys carry a lot of the stuff that we all need. A lot of us are projectors here, and we don't carry that where you're just here to inform strategy, like move it out, like let's get these, but we're not that way. We're like waiting for the invite, like what should we do next? So it's like embracing exactly that energy that you have and that you carry for us.
But at the same time, I have to learn how to slow down. Otherwise I keep on twisting my foot, because I have all the to-do lists of all the levels of from spiritual to the daily life, and my thing is with perfection. Like I just don't want to get it done. I have to do it in a certain way, and it's a challenge. I think each of us is gonna have a challenge. So sometimes I don't write the book, not because I don't know what the vision is. Sometimes I have to have this perfect image, and it has to be with the perfect table to write on the computer. It has to be all perfect around me. And sometimes you have to write in the middle of the chaos. You have to wake up at 3 a.m. and it could be messy. It doesn't mean that you're going to be under the tree to be illuminated. You have to find the illumination on a daily basis. In the middle of the cats barking. And
just like what Kayla was saying, is that you get all these ideas, but you have to inform so that others can join in if they feel.
I didn't know how to do that. I thought I had to do it as well.
Yeah, you do.
Alone.
No, you don't do that.
Alone. So that was what my mistake has been for many years. I thought I could do it, and I could do perfectly, and I could do it alone. I'm very independent, and so maybe that's a lesson I have to find. I think it's the projects that I have to work with, right?
Well, I mean, no, you work with everybody, but your energy is very much a projector because you are really open. I'm gonna just share my screen so you guys can see what I'm looking at. Hold on. Okay, this is Fabi. Oh, sorry, I didn't share. This is Fabi. So she's a manifester, but she's open. Like she is a lot like a projector. And so she's feeling into everything, but she has this, like, I got to do this. I want to do this. I want to do, like, there's so many ideas, but if she doesn't inform, that she needs roadblocks along the way. So this is a same thing as Kayla is like, if you guys start to inform, others can start collaborating and helping these energies move along with you. You know, it's like being that visionary can only have the vision, but you need the people that help carry out the vision. Yeah, just like in Aisha and Caleb, they carry that leadership, that structure. And again, that's needed too. And it's like relying on each other where we are right now and our energies, which I'm gonna update and send out the group Human Design so you can start seeing where you connect with people again, so that you can start utilizing each other's energy, because that's, I think, why we're also together. So I'm just going to show you, that's Bobby. And then let's look at Kayla. She's also a manifester, but looks so different. So it's just understanding we each have this unique blueprint, and you're just here to live that flow, right? And also, Fabi, you're, I was just reading, you're the left angle cross of demands, and so you have this like pressure to make sure everything, and with your accident this week, I feel like, sorry, I'm gonna go back. I feel like that's, you need to slow down, actually. Slow down the masculine, take in the feminine. Yeah. Okay, then Jessica, I know you're new, but do you want to share?
Yeah, sure. I would love to. Thank you everybody for sharing. And it's been so great to just sit back and listen to this kinds of things. And a lot of the things you guys are saying is resonating with me and jumping out at me also. So I'm feeling that. I guess just a little bit about myself. Jessica, I'm 27. I just recently moved to, so I do work with Alicia. We are in that same startup together. I've been studying Reiki I'm a Reiki master. I've been studying it for the last about 8 or 9 years. And just recently, honestly, in the last week, starting to just become awakened to new parts of myself, and, tuning into different energies. I'm very much a huge perfectionist. So Fabi, talking about that stuff, I was like, wow, I feel that. And that's something that I'm really trying to, get over. I've been really leaning into my, I'm a super, I call myself a super Capricorn because I have 6 planets in Capricorn. I'm very, very focused on my, very intense. So I'm very focused on, putting myself out there in my career. I've, put myself out there as wanting to change the world for women, in terms of the business side. I'm very focused on growing my career, growing from that kind of rags to riches, storyline I have for myself. And I was becoming so absorbed into it that I wasn't looking at, leaning into my Scorpio moon or into my Aries rising, and realizing that there was more parts to my life, first of all, my 3D life, besides just the Capricorn piece of it and that, that work part of myself. But then also even just stepping completely, out of that and looking at my higher self, and not just what, I'm meant to do here in the 3D piece, but how to also like grow and to lean more into that side of myself. So this week has been really difficult for a couple different reasons. One, I'm just like how Kayla was kind of saying, like I'm learning to switch off and switch on different parts of what serve me and don't serve me, and realizing that I don't have to, accept these things or lean into certain things. But then also just trying to communicate that with my partner and to, show them that when I'm on my kind of crusades or doing my own thing, that it's not a negative thing for our relationship, that it's who I am and what I need to do. And, I think that has a lot of fear in him. That brings a lot of fear in him when I'm kind of going off on my own and really starting to change, and he sees that change. It's difficult for me to kind of communicate, I guess, about what I'm feeling and what I'm feeling called to do, and that I'm not, not ignoring you, or I'm not forgetting about other parts of my life, but I'm just so laser focused on other things that it takes away. So yeah, finding balance for me has really been difficult always. I'm a very all or nothing. If you look at my chart, I'm like all up in the sun side. In my, on my moon side, I have not much going on. Balance is not my forte. And yeah, I don't know.
So interesting though that you do Reiki, because it seems like that would be the last thing that you would have been interested in.
I think it's, well, I don't know. I'm a very spiritual person. Like I know that I'm here to raise the conversation about my values, which is things like, I really care about women. I really care about, equity in the world. I care about balancing the energies between men and women. And I think that Reiki helps me to just like empower that, what I need. I don't know. Yeah.
And
It is
feel
interesting.
it.
Yeah.
That's what I felt. I mean, I would love to know your birth information so I could look up your human design. But
Yeah. I know that I'm the
I was feeling you're probably a single definition, because usually people that are single definition are able to do their work without others, and it could be that your boyfriend is needs you, is split, which, I mean, a whole nother story, but I mean, I'm curious to find out about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I can say, Jessica, you sound so much like me in that, especially like I could have said the exact same thing between my husband and I, that when I am in flow, we have been learning, and that's been his work, is to like, to not be scared by that, because it very much provokes this, well, I'm not needed anymore, and you don't need me, and you're doing great on your own, and then it gets into this projection of, you'd be happier, with these people or doing this, and you're not happy. Like, I don't bring that for you, or you don't find that in me and in our relationship. And so I think for me, the work there is to also make sure that I am doing a very good job of reassuring, because that fear for him is a fear of rejection, a fear of abandonment, a fear of not being needed, of not being of value to me. And so that if I love him, which I do, then I want to help quell those fears by, whether that's, by just saying it, or I want to start just writing little notes to him, like I did the other day, like, thank you for doing this. And and just expressing that, like, however that looks like for you with your partners, just to express, I do need you in these ways, and I do value you in these ways, and you do these things for me that I don't find anywhere else. So because I could say that you and I sound very much alike in a lot of those ways.
Meaghan, you are single definition. I don't know if he is the split, but I'm going to also say Fabi is also single definition, but her husband is also single definition. So when you're with a partner that isn't a single definition, for someone that is single, it can feel like you have to constantly be reassuring another person to know, like, that, yes, I value you, but I have all the energy, I carry it in myself, and I don't need you, without being mean about it, but you really don't.
Yeah,
that's definition does need it. So like in Fabi's family, because I've done her husband, and her son, they all are single definition. So that conflict doesn't happen there, because they all know they're in their own lanes doing their own thing.
Right. Yeah. I know that I can give you my birth information, but I know that I'm the right angle cross of penetration, which penetration, I think that made sense for me. Just getting myself in there, trying to like make the way. That's like my rising Aries of like just trying to get in there and shake shit up and crack the ice open. But yeah, anyway, it's interesting.
Yeah, if you can put it in the chat, your birth information, and I'll look into yours.
Okay, sweet, thank you.
Okay, Melanie, you're next.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
So my name's Melanie. I work in San Diego at a large nonprofit that serves individuals with intellectual disabilities. And the July 30th, August 1st, the state of California came in with a mandate for healthcare workers that all unvaccinated employees would need to be vaccinated by the end of September, and required testing 2 times a week until that time. So that's kind of what I've been focusing on the last couple of weeks. So I feel like I'm in the place where I need to be to really help people. My coworkers are hella stressed. This is a lot more work for them than, and it's emotional because there's people who don't want the vaccine for their own reasons. So, and because we kind of feel like a family, then that's why it becomes kind of stressful. So, just been what I do in my role is that I'm just doing lots of training and helping people wherever I can. You know, I'm going to different locations just to support people. You know, I can see people's faces, read kind of what's going on with them, and tell that they're about at their stress capacity. And so I'm able to take that from them. So that it's been okay. It's been good. I know that's my role. But when I'm not at work, I'm trying to go inward and just, you know, take stock for what has happened that day, and then try to ground. So haven't been responding too much. I've been reading everything that people have been posting, but I haven't been responding just because I didn't feel like I was able to. So yeah, I think that's really, you know.
Melanie, can I ask?
Well,
Did you get the vaccine?
I did in January, February.
I didn't remember. One of the people we were working with said they weren't getting it. And I was like, was that Melanie? Someone that works there said that. So I was like, oh, okay. So now you're having to deal with the people that really are against it, but want to keep their jobs.
Yeah. So, you know, and it's confidential, but in this process of being responsible for testing, I know. And so I know that they know I know. And so, you know, it's just awkward in some cases, but the other thing that's been going on is we've just had a terrible time with recruitment. And so we're trying to do more in-person services, but it just haven't been able to because we're not able to get the staff in. And it's really hard to have those conversations with parents who haven't been able to go to work for the last year. And they're at crossroads now at this point too, where they may lose their jobs. And so it's very stressful for everyone. I guess the other thing that I have seen is that when people are just so negative, when staff are just really negative and they don't seem like they have any hope, that's also where I come in, and I'm coaching and trying to lift people up. And I know that it works because, even today, I heard a staff person being super positive and they had a smile on their face, and I'm just like, okay, what? Apparently it's working, and I'm just grateful for it, but I'm also surprised by it because this person has just been super negative and negative towards me as well. So yeah.
I mean, this is kind of like Andrea, and that you're also just on the front lines right now, especially when it comes to having to not hold judgment for anyone in their current circumstances, right? Because judgment is where fear comes in, and it's like that's the worst place that we can go from there, but yet you hold the position of being that
right.
I mean, that's
Right. I'm
literally.
I am in the leadership role, and
Oh God.
I but I'm not but that's one of the that would be something that I would say is that I'm not afraid. I'm not I'm confident with things that well, that's the other thing, is that I'm just have been relying heavily on my intuition, and I you I know where it's coming from, but it's surprising to me when it comes and how easily it's coming, to just be able to coach people and manage to find the right words to say. Yeah.
I mean,
So I'm grateful for that.
I personally don't, really pay attention to the things that are happening out there in the news, but I know that this is coming, and it probably will keep continuing to build the pressure on both sides, and that you really are going to have to be that guiding light in the middle, right? With that. And maybe that is exactly why you are in that kind of position of hold the space for the whoever is not vaccinated and still needs to be there, right? Like physically. And I had a conversation with Susan, which she's not on today, but about this very thing. And she also works basically informing people of their rights. And we talked a lot about, are you doing it from a fear perspective or from a love perspective of no judgment of if they are fine getting the vaccine or not getting the vaccine, because that makes all the difference, right? And it's just like, obviously, Melanie, you feel in that space of oneness, so it doesn't matter. But think about even that, where you are in this current pandemic, especially in service of others. It's exactly where your light is needed, right? I mean, that's and when you said I go home and I kind of decompress from all of it, it's like the truth, right? I mean, because you're taking it all in.
Yeah. And I also don't watch the news, and I probably seem really dumb in some meetings, but I was like, I can't,
Oh, did we lose you?
if you have 3 positive cases.
Oh, sorry, Melanie, you froze. Oh.
Scene came in, and public told that.
Oh no. She's telling a story too. Melanie, we can't hear you.
They were just informational and supportive, and they were there to be helpful.
Melanie, we can't hear you. I don't know if you hear us. Melanie, we lost you there. That whole story, we lost you. Can you hear us?
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Now you're back.
So I was just saying that we had licensing in healthcare. We had the San Diego County health workers come out and just did a tour and talked to us about our outbreak. And I think that that day was pretty scary, but they're really just here to be helpful. And I'm not trying to watch the news or learn what's going on, because it's just too overwhelming.
Well, I
was just gonna say, Gabrielle, you shared the link to the Molly McCord's Galactic Center, and I loved that because the message was, it was kind of the permission, the okay, not to, just that reassurance that we don't need to be in the thick of the drama of what's happening the day to day, because eventually, I think the wording was right, not to be the bottleneckers, the ones that are there just watching the car wrecks, happen in front of us, because there are those people, of course, who are in the middle of that. And then some of us, we are supposed to just keep on doing our own thing, and that may look like blinders to other people, but there is going to be a need for like a new earth, in a way that there's going to be a new way of doing things, and we need to make sure that we're prepared to be those light worker providers of it, in a sense, on the other side of this. So
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Melanie, are you still there? Oh, you are. Okay.
I turned my camera off thinking that it might help with the connection.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like, the thing is, knowing the environment that you're in, the people that bring the light are all the customers that are not there, right? And that's how.
Yeah, they actually are here.
Oh, they are the day programmers?
Yeah, we have 25% of capacity at each of the locations. So yeah, that is 100% true. That's I do make sure that I go and see the people that we're providing services to, because that is where I get a lot of light, a lot of energy from.
Yeah. I mean, for me, in my darkest time is when I was volunteering there, and I just felt like kind of like reborn in their energy, because you just feel back to the basics of love, and just simple, all of the chaos and confusion that our minds create and put layers upon layers upon layers of drama is gone.
Yep.
Gone.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
but I'm okay. I'm okay. Just trying to support a bunch of people. Thank you. I'm going to shut my video off since my internet seems to be weird.
Well, I wrote down giver of hope, Melanie. I feel like you are bringing hope to people, especially, you know, in this time, especially with families that are, you know, in desperate need for support from you guys. So I'm just
curious, is Melanie a single definition?
Let's see.
Because as someone who's not, when I hear her say that she's okay and that she's supporting people, my question is, well, who's supporting you? Like, you know, do you have a support system?
Yeah, she's triple split, which means she gets it from everyone. So that makes sense. She's getting it from the clients, the coworkers, the kids at home. She grabs it from everywhere. Yeah. Mm. But that doesn't mean, like, being empathic, you're still empathic, so you feel it all too. And it's just allowing it to flow through versus grabbing onto it and holding it as yours, because that's not what you're here to do. You know, you're here to have the compassion in the moment for the people that need you.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, okay, I think we all have gone, right? Yes. I don't know how much time we have. We still have time. So the next thing I wanted to talk about, guys, is our next lesson, which I know, like, I think I might have said in the podcast today that I had originally when I started the podcast planned to do it like in a sequential order of teaching these kinds of things, but then the messages came through that wasn't what I was supposed to do. So what I realized when Mina broke us into groups, that for us to start breaking down the basics in smaller structures, I then realized that there is a need to go backwards. And so that's kind of where this kind of lessons came from, is like starting from the basics of, like, the last lesson was introducing the clairs, the directions, and then gathering your spirit animals. And the reason that we're doing this is to understand, number one, first, to create a space that is safe for you to do this work in. And to me, and I always talk about this, if you don't have a safe container, you're opening up your light to any energy to come and attach to you. And that is like the first thing you want to make sure that you does not happen, because there's no there's no good to come out if you aren't in control of your light, right? There is no, you just are opening up this shining beacon and literally saying like, who wants to come in? Who wants to party? And what happens, and I experienced this when I was in Bali, is it literally will come in and start attacking you. So why we're going through the process of getting your animals, and now the next level is going to be finding your, they're called Apus, APU, and that is a Peruvian Quechuan term, and I'm going to attach the new lesson in the chat box. It's the sacred lands that we're pulling from this energy. So there are sacred lands that have always existed. And here it comes. There you go. And this energy doesn't go away. And you'll find throughout history that churches found where the sacred lands were, and they literally build the churches on the already existing sacred lands because that land carries the energy. So the importance of finding your apus is pulling from in each direction land that is resonant with you. So it can be a place that you've been to. It can be a place like, for example, one for me is Egypt and Giza, and I have never been there, but I have always felt like I belong there in some way, and one day we'll get there. So for me, that is one of my apus. And when I open sacred space is I pull in the energy from the land that I feel connected to. And what happens is when I am saying my sacred prayer, and then at the end, for each direction, when I say aho, it's meaning I usually feel it come in through my spine as that energy. So you're literally pulling in the land energy as you're pulling in your animals, then you pull in the land, and it's pulling all of the energies from all of these sacred locations into this space and time to protect you. So that is going to be the next step of the lessons, is to tune into what lands want to be a part of your circle. And like I said, it can be lands you've visited. So two of mine are two that were very important to me throughout the beginning part of my awakening, which is Sedona and Mount Shasta. Both of them I have been to, but then two I have not been to. And there are many ways that you can find them. Can be through meditation. When I did this, someone gifted me this deck of cards that's called Sacred Sites Oracle deck. And I realized like how this came into my life at exactly the moment that I needed it, because there was one direction that I couldn't feel into, and it came, and it's the one that I have such problems pronouncing. It's called Borobudur, and it's from Indonesia. And I had gone to Indonesia last year, but I did not go see the sacred site. But I trust that energy is needed in my circle. So it's literally tuning into, however way that you can, the sites that have always resonated. So like it could be, Egypt, it could be a mountain in Peru, and really embodying those energies when you call in your space is needed, because these lands are here to protect us. So that's going to be the next lesson in the next couple of weeks for you guys to tune into. And then at the end of that, we'll tie it all together, and I'll show you how to create your sacred prayer. Okay.
I just want to say, Gabrielle, this feels perfect. I don't know, maybe you feel it too, but like, at least from the receiving end, it's been really cool, because I know some people like in our group, Andrea, she says that she's brand new to this awakening. And so she's kind of at a loss of where to start. But then there are others of us who have been on this journey for a while, but yet going back to the basics helps me like discover, like, 'cause I have like all these bits of information, and sometimes there can be holes or loops where not everything's exactly clear or concrete or done. And I love how you're giving time for us to actually feel into this and make it real, and not just, I don't know, like on a deadline. Okay, this. And because we all have lives, and like, and we have to actually take time and invest it. And so you're giving time for us to really make this real for us to incorporate into our lives going forward. So I feel like it is establishing a solid foundation for like even such people as myself who have been on this journey for a while, showing me like exactly how I can fit all of these pieces I've gathered together in a coherent way.
And then with my wall, it becomes you. Like, it is so important. It's not just finding your spirit animals just to have them. No, they literally are pulling the web together for you. And they will be with you the rest of your life. And same with these lands. It is something that it's like, in a way, they're kind of like past lives that you've had time in that space, and it feels like it's pulling you just like the animals. So the point is that you're pulling through this energy into this time and space so that it is here to support you and becomes like the fertilizer to your roots of who you are, right?
Can I ask you another question? So I saw on your wall that you have the triangles, and some of them are upside down, some of them are right side up. And I just remember, like, in the group chat, I had told you guys I had a dream of an upside down triangle on my forehead that was like rainbow colored. And then I saw today on your for your podcast episode, there was the image of the hand with the upside down triangle with like the rainbow coloring. So, and then I see, some of the triangles here. So can you tell me what that's all about, and if we'll be finding our own triangles?
Well, the triangles are the elements. So the up triangle, this is fire. Down triangle is water. The triangle that is down with the line is earth, and the one that is up with the line is air. So that's why this, first of all, the image in the center is where I first felt recognized for the matrix, because this was the first image that I found that actually had it painted. And I was like, oh, I'm not alone. This isn't like in my imagination. So that's what, for me, holds the anchor of my medicine wheel. Now, below here is where I have my wolf, which is the south. And like I said, the regular triangle is the element of fire. And as you'll see, I also have the goddesses from the Sophia's code, and she opens circle with the goddesses. So I also have incorporated them into this like mandala of space, because I do recognize and call them in as well. So that is like an extra step that if you identify with the Sophia code, you can also do that. And she has them placed in specific directions as well. And then on the corners is where I have my Apus. So these corners are each holding the land. And then here, for example, like in the let's say in the east, I have Hathor. I have my serpent and my snake, and this is all under air. So it's holding that direction. And what I believe is that over time, you're going to keep pulling in energies that I will add to this. So for example, it would be the west, let's see, it would be the northwest right here. There is another Sophia code goddess or element that should be here, but I haven't connected with it, and it's the dragon. I have an image of it, but I haven't put it up because I know that until it's ready to be embodied in me, I'm not ready to embody it. So understanding that it's a work in progress, and this has come together over the last 2 years for me. I only created this as a visual, I would say only a few months ago. This wall used to just be like, it looked like conspiracy theories, like all the things I was working on, like just posted up there. And then I realized like, okay, all of that work was what I was working on when I was going through shamanism, and I've completed that. So I cleansed that, and then I left it blank for a while, and then I waited to see what wants to come up. And then this started to come up, and I realized that I want, just as I have next week's podcast is all about spirit animals, but just as I have my little crystals that embody my animals, I want them to be in my space, and I want them to hold the energy here. And that is why also I believe Baby G goes there, because she also is one of those animals that called in for this energy, right? So she sits on those stones like they're her children because that's where the energy is focused. And for me, like, again, this, no one like shared this as a practice. I just felt drawn to it because I want to visualize the energy that I'm calling in. Okay. So that's why these animals and these lands are going to be with you for so long that, yes, take the time and feel into it. I think people are having to go. So I just want to say, you guys, it's important. And this is why it literally holds the space for you. Okay. Wait, Megan's back, and some people have dropped off, but I hope that all and Meaghan, I added in the chat in the next lesson, so you can download there. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I'll have a link to it as well. And just you guys know that these elements and these animals are literally you. So you're just building your energy, your container to be stronger. And then when you go out into the world, you're no longer at the mercy of other people's energy. Like, okay, so also what I know is that I've been wearing this necklace from the very beginning of my awakening, and it's fire. It is fire. It's the element of fire. It's shaped like the element of fire. And I am Sagittarius. I am fire. And it makes such perfect sense. So it's like realizing now, this is in hindsight. When I got this, I didn't know that, right? But it's starting to pull the pieces together to see how does it all pull together and support you, because energy and synchronicities and spirit are doing that all the time. Okay.
Totally. I've been like nodding my head, like I feel like it's gonna fall off because I'm like, yes. Because I too, like, I fly over the Andes at night sometimes before going to sleep, and I didn't know where I was at first until I started Googling like really grassy mountains all over the world. Then I found it, and then I just found it so peaceful for me that what I do now. If I want to calm my mind and I just want to go somewhere that feels like lovely to me, I do that. And as you were explaining this, I was like, oh, that's a really, I knew it was important to me, but I didn't know that I can like put it in place and use it. And I'm already tapping into it, but now I can tap into it like in a really specific, intentional way. So,
and finding which direction is it here for you? That's the other thing, is really going and tuning into where is it wanting to support you.
Yeah, that's the same with my spirit animals too. It's like I've had them since I was young and they're just with me, I know, but tuning into them, like you said, and that's.
And a lot of that comes from looking up there. You can Google like, what is the totem? What is this totem spirit energy? And a lot of the times tune into the wording and you'll feel it. Is it part of shedding, or is it a nurturing essence? Is it a grounding essence? It sometimes will not match at all. Like I say, for example, my owl is about wisdom, but it is in my north element, which is grounding. But now this is, okay, that happened over a year ago, but now I understand why it's in the north. It is wisdom to be grounded. So it's like just being open to how they come in, and it may not make sense now. It may take a year to make sense, but it will make sense, and it is there to support something in that element.
Right.
Does anyone have any questions before we go? Anything? No.
Are we gonna meet again as air groups? What is the next goal like?
Well, so I'm gonna be on. Oh, hi, Christian. Hi, baby. No, he looks like he just got up from a nap. Hi, Gibo.
He cannot hear you because I have the headphones, but he's been doing the cards with me.
What I said. Okay. Hi, Gibo.
Hello.
Too loud. It's too loud.
Oh, too
loud. It's too loud.
He's doing the cards with me every night. He likes to pull the cards.
Oh, I love it.
And he did last night. He pulled your card from today.
Oh, he did?
Yeah,
Oh
the
my
same
God.
one. That's cute. The one that has the moon and the sun. Is that the one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was his card.
You knew we were going to talk about this. Probably we'll talk about our individual group later, but yeah, so this big group will be meeting. The next time will be not next week, so it will be the 3rd of September. So Jessica, you need to be added to a group. So I'm going to ask Mina which group your energy is being called towards, and we're broken into the elements. So I am in the air element, and Meaghan is earth. Aisha is water. And then there's also a fire group. So depending on what phase you're in, that's the group you'll be put into. Okay. And then
Perfect.
actually, I don't have your email address. So if you can just add that really quick to the chat too, I'll send you the lesson from last week so that you can see the part about the clairs and the animals. And okay, guys.
Thank you so much. It was so nice to connect for everyone
Thank
with
you.
everyone.
So good. Oh, Fabi put a heart.
Thank you so
Christian's
much.
saying goodbye. Christian's all saying bye-bye.
Bye, Chris.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
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 Bye.